What's up guys, it's your urban educator Warren Goslin back with another financial wealth building video. If you'd like to show your support for this channel, please do so by hitting the like button and subscribing, that really helps. And recommend this video to somebody else on their wealth building journey. Appreciate the continued love and support from you guys. Peace.
So today I thought I'd do a little bit of a different kind of video, more of a life update, because a lot has happened actually in my life on a personal level from November until now. If you're wondering why I'm wearing a scarf, it's because it's snowing outside. It's lovely, but it's very cold. And that's why I'm inside my car, because I've just come back from a walk. So yeah, this isn't going to be a scripted video. This is more about life, and it's going to be a bit more free form, so bear with me. So I wanted to share about my journey with work over the last 3 months. As you know, if you've watched some of my other videos, I am a contractor. So what that means is that being a contractor, I'm independently employed. I work for myself via a limited company. So some of you out there watching might be contractors yourselves, and you might know what that means, but essentially I work for myself and I go out to companies, i.e. banks, and I take projects, usually on a 6 to 12 months basis. So long story short, up until November last year, so 2010, I was on a 12-month contract, and I came to the end of that contract. And usually when you come to the end of a contract, the bank will do one of two things. They'll either extend you for another 6 months, that's usually how long the term is, or they'll say, hey, you've delivered, what we brought you here to deliver, so thank you very much for your service, and you part ways. Or actually, a third thing is that they'll say that we want you to stay, but we've run out of money. And with me, at the end of last November, as I came to the end of my contract, the bank basically said, hey, look, we can't extend you because we don't have the money to extend you. Coronavirus, there's a lot of uncertainty in the market. The bank's lost quite a lot of money over the past year, but instead of contracting, we'd like you to go perm. So for me personally, I really enjoy contracting. It's flexible. You work for 6 months, and at the end of those 6 months, you really have the option to take a break if you wanted to. So obviously you have to save, and I'm going to come on to that in a bit. So if you saved whilst you're working, you can come to the end of 6 months or 12 months, 18 months, 2 years, however long it is, and say, hey, I'm going to take a break for a few months, and then you come back and you look for a project again and you start working again. And I've got, a lot of friends who are contractors who have done that. I've got friends who've taken like a year out from working, gone traveling, gone back home to where they're from, spent some time just out of the work market, recharging, recentering themselves, and then coming back. So I like the flexibility to be able to do that. And also, with contracting, you don't get involved or get sucked up into a lot of the office politics as much as you would if you were perm, because when you're perm, it's kind of inescapable. Whereas if you're contracting, it's a different dynamic. So that was me. So anyway, came to the end of November, and because of what was going on globally, but in the UK as well with coronavirus, as we all know, the economy was and still is in a bad way. So banks weren't really hiring. So I had one of two choices. I could have gotten towards the end of November and said, okay, let me look, and by the grace of God, maybe something will land. Unlikely, but I could have carried on looking. Or option B, which I took, was to just take a break. I was kind of pragmatic about it. I was like, it's November, the economy is struggling, nobody's trying to hire anyone. It would probably be a waste of my time to put that pressure on myself to wake up and search for jobs every day from November, December to January when nobody's really trying to hire. So I took a pragmatic decision, and I said, you know what, I'm just not going to search for anything from November till December, and I'll start in January. So literally, I haven't worked or searched for jobs from the beginning of November until now. It's been a long year, guys. We've had a long year, and it's turning into another long year potentially. And I've just found a job, which is great, and I'll come on to that in a bit more detail. But yeah, I essentially just took some time off, and I think one of the things I wanted to talk about is really healthy. I mean, not everybody has that luxury, right? Not everybody has the luxury. So I just said, after the year that we've just had, I just want to take a break from work and just really go down into first gear and just do nothing for a while, because work takes a lot out of you. I was talking to a friend the other day, and he was telling me about his working life pattern, daily pattern pre-corona, compared to now. And he was telling me how pre-corona he would wake up at 5 a.m, go to the gym, get his pump on for the day, which is good, and then go to work, get to work for 8 a.m. because the journey from where he was, from the gym to work was over an hour and a half, work the whole day, and he wouldn't get home till like 9. So basically he was saying how his kid and his partner really wouldn't see him from 5 a.m. to like 9 at night, and he'll see his kid for the last hour of the day, for 5 days a week sometimes, which is intense. Whereas you compare it to now, he was like, he wakes up, obviously because there's no traveling to work, it's just a lot more easier. Like, he sees his kid in the morning, he doesn't have to do that journey into work and home from work, which is really the killer, and he sees his kid when she's home from school, and it's really good for them. So like, life's changed a lot, and for everyone. So yeah, I've been working since I was 16 years old, and pretty much non-stop. I've worked all over. I've worked, back then when I was working in Primark and BHS, I've worked in pubs, I've worked in call centres. I've always worked, and I love to work. I love to be active. I love to be using my mind. I love to have a purpose. And, obviously, like most of us, worked hard throughout school and uni, got a job, and straight into that corporate world. So it was good just to have 3 months off of just, for the first time, apart from when I went travelling, it was really good to have an intentional pause for a few months and just live and just be, which has been really good for like my personal, mental and physical health. And I guess leading on from that, in terms of being able to do that, I think I've been in a position to be able to do that because I've saved. And if you've watched my other videos, I've talked about, I talk a lot about investing in stocks, shares and funds, investing in property, and having a side hustle. The first foundational step towards that is to get your budget together and to start saving. If you don't save, you can't invest. You need that money there to be able to use it and put it to work for you. So in my case, my savings, obviously I invest in funds, stocks and shares and property, side hustles, but I also have savings, particularly because I'm a contractor. There are times, well, I personally haven't experienced it until now actually, but there are times throughout your life of a contractor where you will go through periods where you can't find a job. You're in between contracts, in between projects, because sometimes it takes time to find another job. You have to go through the interviewing process. There has to actually be jobs available for you. And obviously with the economy the way it is, this has been one of those times where it hasn't been, fluid just from one role into the next, as it's been for me over the last 5 years. It was different this time, and because obviously I chose not to go from one role to the next because of those reasons. So I had to have savings in place for a time like this, and thank God that I did, because it's really allowed me to be able to do this. If I didn't have the savings in place, I would be struggling right now, put it that way, guys. Bills don't take a holiday just because you're not working. They still accrue, and obviously you can come to agreements sometimes with your creditors, so your mortgage lender, your utilities company, your council tax, and you can say to them, hey look, I'm going through a difficult time here, can you give me 3 months grace period? And be like, fine, but you still got to pay us back. So yeah, I was able to do that because of savings were really the lifeline that got us through that period from November to now. And I mentioned that I found a job, which is great, and I'm very grateful for that, because I think beyond 3 months it would have become a bit difficult, and that's really the amount of time that I've saved for. And I don't think this is just something for contractors. If you're in permanent work, I absolutely think you should have 3 months worth of savings too. You never know when a scenario like coronavirus is going to hit the economy and you're suddenly out of a job, or you're on furlough and you're getting less than you were before. Or, you might just have a sudden expense, an unexpected expense that just comes out of nowhere. Your boiler breaks down or your car breaks down and you have to find a couple of £1,000 from somewhere. This happens in life. It happens to all of us at some stage. So absolutely build up that nest egg savings fund. 3 months worth is a good start. If you can do more than that, do more than that, just to tide you over for times like this. I've really, that has been a golden lesson from this period. I've learned that it is just so important to have that, because you never know when you're going to need it. So I mentioned that I have a job now, which is great. Very grateful for that. Since January, the beginning of January, been waking up every morning and doing applications for an hour every single day. And it's really paid off. By the grace of God, that work that I put into that has paid off. And I found a role finally, which looks good. It's another contract at another bank, and I'm looking forward to starting that. I think it was a very interesting process. One bank, and I won't name them, but I went through 5 interviews with that bank. 5 interviews. And I didn't get that one. And I think that's another thing that I learned through this process. I mean, as well as, saving, that was a key golden lesson. Taking that time off from work just to recharge yourself and, find your center again and be introspective and think about life. That's very important. Also, something that this period has taught me through this interview process is like resiliency and just handling rejection, because after 5 interviews, I don't know, sometimes with interviews, you think you've nailed it. Like you come out of an interview like, you know what, I smashed it. And then other times you can come out feeling less confident, like, you know what, they didn't go well. So with this particular bank, I had 5 interviews, as I said. 4 out of the 5, I thought I'd smashed it. I was like, that went really well. They were saying all types of stuff like, oh, great to meet you. And they even said at one point, oh, it's a shame that we had to, because I had to do it over Microsoft Teams. Google Hangouts, that was it. I had to do some of the interviews, all of the interviews over Google Hangouts or Google Meets, Hangouts. I don't know. I don't really use it that often, but it's one of those 2 words. So anyway, they were saying, oh, it's a shame that we had to do this over Google Hangouts, but hopefully we can meet in person when this is all over. So I'm like, why would you say that unless I've got the job? So I was like, yeah, I think I got it. And I was like, yeah, 4 out of 5 of the interviews have gone this way. And I remember the day before I found out, I was just going for a walk and they called me. I was like, okay, we know you've gone through 4 interviews so far. We've just got 1 more for you. Just need you to meet 2 more team members. So would you be able to rush home in the next 20 minutes so we can set up one last interview? So I was just like, well, it's 5 o'clock. I think it was on a Thursday. And they want me to meet it's like, the final boss like on Mortal Kombat. And you beat that one and you're like, okay, boom, that's me done. I've won. So I was like, okay, there wouldn't be this much urgency for me to meet these people and go for a final interview if this wasn't just like a box ticking exercise. I was like, I've definitely got this. So I wasn't that arrogant. I was like, in my mind, I was like 80, 90% I've got it. But I was still aware of that 10, 15%, like what if you don't? So anyway, went to bed and they said they'll let me know by the next day. And I got a text saying, thank you so much for your time, Warren. You came across so well. And I was like, yeah, wicked. So I was like, oh, they really enjoyed interviewing you and meeting you throughout the process. I was like, yeah. And then I was like, oh, but unfortunately on this occasion, we've decided to go with another candidate and we wish you all of the best in your future job search. And I was just like stunned in that moment because I was like, no, you told me that you can't wait to meet me when Corona's over. You told me you wanted me to meet you at 5:30 last night. I was just like, all of these things, like, this doesn't make any sense. And I'm not going to lie, I was gutted because I did want that job. But God has a wonderful way of, taking away. He doesn't necessarily give you what you want. He gives you what you need. So I think this was in fact, I'm confident this was one of those instances in life where you have your heart set on something and you've built it up in your own mind, but what you actually need, what's meant for you, is something else. So I made my peace with it. I'm not gonna lie, I was proper annoyed that I had to jump through 5 different interview hoops. I did like days of prep, but I think what really took the biscuit was that they text me to let me know that I didn't get it. I was like, just give me a call, man. Just give me a call. Common courtesy. But that was that. So anyway, that opportunity got moved to the side, and just learning to deal with like rejection and feeling like you wanted something really bad and you worked. That's the thing. When you work really hard for something, and believe me, I did so much research, so much prep. It was like revising for an exam, for this particular set of interviews, and I didn't get it. And it's like, you feel like you're not good enough, but obviously I am, but it's just that particular one or that role or the workplace or that company just wasn't for me. I'm more than qualified. Yeah, screw them. But no, I'm only joking. But it was what it was. So I've got a new job and very happy with that, guys. So yeah, that's where I'm at, guys. So just, in terms of your journeys out there, if you're working or if you're not working, whatever your situation is, when you get back into work, try and build up 3 months worth of savings in a nest egg just to tide you over. You know, we might not have another scenario like this for months, years, you know, it might be a long way off. But yeah, have that 3 months worth of savings, guys. It's a lifesaver. If you stay ready, you don't have to get ready, you know. Also, just in terms of work-life balance, that's a big thing. Not everybody has the option to take 3 months off work. I really do understand that. But, you know, taking holidays, taking your holiday entitlement during the year, just to have some time away from work, just to, you know, recenter yourself and de-stress yourself is really important, guys. I've learned the importance of it whilst being off, right? So when I go back to work, I'm going to take more regular holidays, and I'm not going to save them all to like Christmas or summer. I'm going to have holidays in like February and March and in between. And then lastly, yeah, it's just like dealing with rejection and disappointment. It's an important thing to be able to do, because at the end of the day, you know, as I said, I wanted that job, and I could have really let that devastate me. I could have been like, oh, I'm not good enough, and oh, they don't want me, and do you know what I mean? All of those kind of feelings and thoughts and self-doubt that can come into your brain when, you know, you worked hard for something and you don't get it. Resilience is a really important thing, guys, and I think it's almost like a lost art these days. So that's my year so far. That's the last 3 months. I hope you found this video interesting. Like I said, it's a bit different from the usual ones, but I thought, you know, with so many new subscribers out there that I've got, there's literally hundreds of you now, I thought I'd just give you a bit more of a personal video and just let you know what's going on in life. Hope you guys are all well, and I'll speak to you soon. Take care.